Who said that over here? For all of you start laughing. This is the one image. I have 50 some odd images. The one image that wasn't funny. I was supposed to finish on a profound thought. You all start laughing and somebody right here goes, yeah, right. Which is the second best one. The best one I've ever had is I put this up and I said, this could be you and your staff arriving every day. And this guy yells out, looks like 4:30 to me. Jane, this next one's for you. You ready? Okay. Can change be bad? Not all change is good. So here's the key. If something doesn't work, you don't complain, you don't whine, you don't ditch it, you tweak it, fine-tune it. What do we learn? Where do we go from here? Because when things don't turn out as planned, stay focused. Because as you know, things don't always turn out as planned. It's when you need to be agile and resilient.
The Ironman Triathlon World Championship in Hawaii is one of the most challenging and inspiring athletic events in the world. Over 1,000 athletes swim 2.4 miles.
And what we see is the chase pack closing inexorably.
Bike 112 miles. And run a marathon 26.2 miles. 2 times, Murray raced to the elite top 50 in the world, and at the age of 40, set the American Masters record.
Are you familiar with the Ironman Triathlon? Hawaii? Swim 2.5 miles, bike 112 miles, run a marathon, 26 miles. It's stupid. I had seen it on TV and I said, that's dumb. 3 years later, there I am.
Murray is one of the few athletes in the world who has been a top finisher at a world championship in 2 different sports. In 1990, he retired from triathlons and devoted that energy to his demanding speaking schedule and to ski racing. In Norway and Switzerland, he was silver medalist. And in 1998, at the Olympic venue in Lake Placid, he was the Masters World Champion.
One of the great lessons that I bring from education to my speaking profession is that people learn in different ways. We know that the least effective way for someone to learn is to sit and listen. The most effective ways to learn are through seeing and doing. And that's why, whether it's a management retreat for 30 people or a keynote address to 1,500 people, I'm going to have numerous visuals, maybe 50 or 60 different images on the screen. I'll tell stories and anecdotes. I'll walk amongst the audience, ask them questions. They'll be raising their hands. So each person feels like they're an integral part of a conversation, not a speech. And would you like to share the word that you had in mind? You said daily word. She immediately thought of a word. See, it's just like teaching 8th grade. I didn't say it, she said it.
I said medication.
You have meditation, she prefers medication. What's your name?
Marilyn.
Marilyn says, so let me get this straight. I could jog 5 miles every morning or just do drugs. Is that what you're saying?
Would you agree that under stress you get sarcastic? Would you agree with that? You bet you do. Yeah, no, Thursday's out. How about never? Is never good for you? Raise your hand if you already have the name of the person you're going to use this on. You're probably texting it right now. Yeah, this is how I see myself. But because I'm totally clueless, what my colleagues see is entirely different. Pay attention. Because of your visibility in your community and your position on the school board, or certainly as an administrator, you have to be more aware than anybody. So one of your challenges in leadership is like herding cats.
This man right here is my great-grandfather. He's the first cat herder in our family.
Herding cats. Don't let anybody tell you it's easy.
Anybody can herd cattle. Holding together 10,000 half-wild short hairs, well, that's another thing altogether.
Being a cat herder is probably about the toughest thing I think I've ever done.
I may spend days preparing for just a 2-hour speech. I'll talk, of course, with the meeting planner and the conference planner, and I'll talk with the leadership team, but I'll probably also call some employees, I love calling their 800 number and talking to their customer service reps and their sales executives, find out how they work with the customers every day. It really gives me a sense of what they do. But some of the best presentation preparation I've ever done is the evening before at a reception, the morning of at breakfast, during a coffee break, where I get to talk with the participants, the people in the audience. And they talk very candidly with me about what they do all day. And you can be sure that that's blended right into the presentation. And I realized how detail-oriented Sylvan folks are, just from my communication with a couple of people. So then I visited your website, and I love the way you present yourself to the world and to the public. And that made me work a little bit harder in my preparation. Have you ever noticed that when you're around people who are very focused, perfectionists, very intense, that you become that way too? Did you see the cappuccino guy out there? While you were in your last workshop, I walked by him, and he's making a cappuccino, and I watched him do that. I walked over and I said, "You're gonna have cappuccino for everybody?" Because I saw in the program, cappuccino bar, you know? He said, "Oh yeah. I said, "You got other people coming to work with you?" "No, just me." "Do you know when they open those doors, hundreds of people are gonna come out here?" "Yep," he says, "I got 2 machines and 1 guy. Tell me what they were thinking on that one." I love this, responding to our customers' needs. You see, I'm not your customer, I'm Mike's customer. He's my agent. Your customer is Mike, or your area field rep, or your zone rep, your district, or somebody in this building, in your building, is your customer. You provide a service to somebody else so they can do what they do best, so I get, eventually, all the way down the line, I get what I need with my insurance, my investments, with my banking needs, or whatever it is. Nearly every organization I work with has experienced change in the way they do business recently. So consequently, change is integrated into almost any presentation I do. So in an audience with 30 or 40 managers, or a top producers conference with 150 people, or a keynote with 1,500, there's going to be an element of that audience that is tired, perhaps stressed, and frustrated about how the changes have affected them, or they manage people who are tired, stressed, and frustrated. And so my job is not to explain or rationalize organizational change. My job is to give them specific skills they can use every day. You remember the lava lamp? Yeah. So this week you go buy a lava lamp. You take it out of the box, you're all excited, you plug it in, you turn it on, and what happens? Nothing. It's got to warm up. Yeah, it takes a long time for the heat of that light to create the chemical reaction. I mean, if you sat there and looked at it for 2 or 3 hours, which some of you did in the 70s, you know, eventually that thing would get moving. Now let's say it's sitting on your desk and you never turn it off. It goes 2 years and you never turn it off. It never stops changing. A lava lamp philosophy means we don't wait for a mandate to change what we do. We're always looking, thinking, adapting, adjusting. So we're agile. We're resilient. We don't like this, but we can do this if we have to. Yeah. Lava lamp philosophy. You function better, what? When there's a lot going on. Yeah. Here's the problem. You can work that way for just so long, and then you get a little overloaded and your performance starts to drop. The key is to find a balance point between pressure and lifestyle.
Ultimate trip came when we started in Chamonix on the French-Italian-Swiss border at the base of Mont Blanc, and we skied for 8 days to the Matterhorn in Zermatt. We climbed through the high mountain peaks, dropping down into these long glacial runs. It was just awesome. I looked at it for several minutes and I could not go. I turned to Jeff and I said, "Oh my gosh, all I see are these deep crevasses and these huge hanging ice boulders." Jeff says, and this is where it comes back to you, "Dad, don't be looking for crevasses, man. Look for the beautiful powder between them." Have you ever skied in the trees with somebody who said, "If you look for the trees, you'll hit the trees. Look for the powder, you'll ski the powder"? And then at the bottom, they told me this. When I said, "I don't know how I did that," they shared this mountaineering quote with me: "Tenacity is easier when you have no choice." What a great place to leave this thought at this conference. You've got tough times in front of you. But if you stick with it, it's amazing what you can do. And you don't always see the answer right here. Sometimes you got to get into it before things begin to open up. And then you have it.
Great, good job. I think they loved you.
Thank you.